Night shifts in a half-empty office building are defined by monotony. The job is a cycle of walking quiet halls, checking the monitors, and testing door handles in a space that feels more like a hollow shell than a place of business. When the 2 a.m. relief fails to show up, the motivation to stay is simple. A supervisor offers 2 hours of overtime. It is a standard trade, a bit of extra sleep for a larger paycheck. But an empty commercial building at night has a specific weight. Without the white noise of a workday, the quiet becomes heavy. Every footstep echoes a bit too long, creating a baseline of tension that hums through the ventilation. This economic drive, the need for a few extra dollars, acts as a distraction. It keeps the focus on the clock and the bank account, masking the moment the environment shifts from a workplace to a hazard. The 2:30 a.m. patrol begins as a checklist. Ground floor, clear. First floor, clear. The guard moves toward the second floor, following a route he has walked 100 times before. A sharp sound breaks the silence. A chair scraping across the floor in a room that should be empty. It is a distinct mechanical noise that has no business occurring in a locked building. He moves down the hallway toward a single door left ajar. A pale light spills out of the gap, cutting across the darkened carpet of the corridor. Inside, the room appears vacant, save for a table and a few chairs. But one chair is still in motion, rocking back and forth as if someone had just stood up and walked away a second before the door opened. Footsteps approach from the hallway behind him. Before he can turn, the heavy wooden door slams shut and the latch clicks, locked from outside. Help is miles away, and the guard is now sealed in a soundproofed office on a deserted floor. The immediate reality is a simple physical imprisonment in a space where no one is coming to check the locks until morning. The physical rules of the building begin to erode. The lights flicker, and when they return, the room has aged. The once modern paint is peeling away in long strips, and the office furniture has gathered a thick layer of grime and decay. The mechanics of this temporal trap are absolute. While time moves forward for the world, this specific space branches off into a closed, repeating loop. Because it's anchored here, past objects occupy present coordinates. On the table sits a security logbook, thick with dust and brittle with age. Inside the log is a photograph dated 10 years ago. It shows the guard in his uniform, holding the same flashlight, standing in this exact room. Seeing yourself in a decade-old photo in a room you only just entered means your arrival wasn't a new event. If the building recorded your presence years before you were hired, your life has been part of this loop long before you realized. A silent figure slowly emerges from the deep shadows of the corner. It is another security guard, dressed in a faded, old-style uniform. He looks exhausted, his eyes hollowed out by a shift that hasn't ended in years. He explains the logic of the anomaly. You don't leave if you stay past your shift. The overtime wasn't a choice. It was a forfeit of the right to exit. Other figures appear in the corners. They are the previous guards, wearing uniforms of different eras, all caught in the same cycle. The protagonist is simply the latest addition to a growing collection. The lights flicker once more. When they return, the decay is gone. The room is clean, modern, and the door stands wide open, offering a path to escape. This environment doesn't need to physically harm its victims. Exposing a person to the sight of their own name in a decades-old logbook is enough to break their understanding of how time functions. The guard flees. He rides home through the empty streets and quits his job the next morning. He puts miles between himself and that office building, seeking the safety of a normal life. Months pass. He is in his own home, behind his own locked door. The building is a memory, and the supernatural events on the second floor are over. But the symptoms remain. Late at night, the sound of a chair scraping against wood echoes in his kitchen. In the absolute dark, he clearly hears the voice of the hollow guard whispering that he stayed too late. This is a form of liminal trauma. The mind remains permanently anchored to the site of the event. Even though his physical body moved away, His psyche is tied to the building by an unbreakable tether. Every time the guard closes his eyes to sleep, his consciousness is pulled back across that tether. He immediately finds himself standing in that peeling room, holding the heavy flashlight, staring at the rocking chair. Physical escape was an illusion. The guard is now a permanent part of the building's history, destined to relive those 2 hours of overtime every time he tries to rest.